Congratulations on making it this far in the course. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's dive right in. Today we're going to be talking about the interview process, and I have a 3-step interview process that will ensure that you will be hated by the keyboard warriors over on LinkedIn. And that's because I recommend every single job position go through 3 interviews. The first interview is going to be your standard interview. Why they applied, right? Why are you applying for this job? Very straightforward. What they know. What do you know about this company? What do you know about this role? Figure out from them what they even know. Did they do any research? Their recent and relevant resume items. I call this the 3 R's, right? You want to make sure this person is a good fit. But you wouldn't have scheduled them if you didn't think so already. But this gives them a chance to go in a little deeper and allows you to ask questions on that. And then finally, and this is the most important part of the first interview, you need to sell them on the role and the organization. Once that's done, give them an assignment for the second interview. Now, this is where people start to hate you. But the right people will love you for it, because on the second interview, you give them a chance to sell themselves. So maybe something didn't come up in the first interview. Maybe different people are wired differently. Some people like to have a little preparation. So the second interview gives the best candidates a chance to prepare, right? They can have slides if they want and really tell you who they are, what their values are, and what their contribution is going to be. This is a great opportunity to really get to know the best candidates on a deeper level and see how they think when they're in charge of the structure, right? Now, anyone that goes through the first and second interview can get to a third interview, and this is going to be hands-on. So the first 2 interviews are usually done online, but the third interview, depending on the job type, it's usually pretty critical to have that be in person. For example, I've got a client that has a fishing boat company, right? So if he's hiring a captain for one of his boats, you better believe that he should see that person on the boat, how they act at sea before signing on the dotted line, right? And at the end of this third interview, you should really know if you want the person or not. So I would say either make the offer right there and then. That way you can get rolling right into the paperwork, right into some training, or give them a decision date. The decision date, always give that for your no. Even if you know it's a hard no, give them the decision date. You don't want to tell them no in person just to avoid having a disgruntled person in your place of work. But even sometimes if you have a lot of highly qualified candidates and you do need to review them with your team or your partner, give them the decision date and stick to that. You're giving them the decision date more for you than for them, so that you can be accountable. Hey, by Friday, I will know who my person is and they will know. So this is the 3-step interview process, and you will be hated for it. But the reason it's so important is to avoid first date syndrome. First date syndrome is when someone does great on the first interview and then you hire them on the spot. Maybe they don't even show up to the first day of work. Or maybe they do show up, but their work starts not to match the person that was in the interview. By having a more structured process that requires a bit of consistency even to get through, you're gonna get better candidates on your team. Looking forward to the next lesson, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And I know this is a lot to cover in such a short video, so be on the lookout for my advanced course, which will cover all 3 interviews in a lot more detail. Look forward to seeing you there, but you got one more lesson here.